heard it all week from national media critiquing Baker Mayfield after his poor performance on Sunday. ESPN's Ryan Clark is one of the latest to get in on the action. He said, "When I look at the league and went around the divisions, there are about 22 quarterbacks offhand that I would take over Baker Mayfield. And in a 32-team league, that makes you below average. Against winning teams, he is 4-13. He has 29 turnovers to 24 touchdowns in those games. That's below average quarterback play." Then you've got Domonique Foxworth from ESPN. "I hate to see it. I like the personality. I like the brash. I personally like the commercials. He's a phenomenal actor, but you got to learn how to throw some touchdowns and not interceptions in this league if you want to hang around and keep getting those commercials." Then Mike Greenberg responded to his comment. He said, "If not, the future might be more in acting than it is in football. I don't mean to be funny, but that's the reality." So, Les, Anthony, my question to you guys is this. How confident are you guys that Baker Mayfield is still a franchise quarterback for the Browns?
Take it away, Anthony.
Well, I find something insulting there, and it was Mike Greenberg thought that line was funny. Also, if we were going to talk about acting, I'd like Baker to start acting like a top 15 quarterback, and then we could put this to rest. The thing is, we know Baker has it in him. We know he has it in him because we saw some instincts his rookie year that looked like a guy who could be not only a franchise quarterback, but also an elite quarterback. Yes, the Freddie Kitchens era did not help him, but now they've got everything around him. And they have really told him, just play within the system. And unfortunately, he hasn't even been able to do that. He did have a couple games where he game managed, like he did against Cincinnati in the first game and against Washington. I'm afraid it's going to have to be more of that going forward, just so that the team can pick up his fifth option. But if it's more like we've seen in the last 6 quarters against Indianapolis in the second half, against what we saw in Pittsburgh on Sunday, and of course Baltimore to start the year, then they have to realistically think about trying to get something else as a solution for a season next year, which is going to be so big, a team that can contend, especially if they spend some money on defense.
All right, you want to go out and go get Trevor Lawrence for next year and go through this whole thing, this whole quarterback thing again?
Well,
or Justin Fields? Is that what you want to really do?
They're not going to have the ammo to do either of those things. Those guys are going to go 1-2, and the teams at the top of the draft, they're just not going to let that happen. And I could make the argument that with the way the team is constructed, they're ready to pounce next year and the year after. So would you go after a veteran quarterback, say a Matt Ryan? And reports were out this week that the Atlanta Falcons were looking to wheel and deal both Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. Now, some people think Matt Ryan's over the hill. I still think he's got a lot of game left in him. He still has a quarterback rating near 100. He's had some big games this year. Maybe a change of scenery would help. But that's not a long-term solution, and some people are going to be a little bit squeamish on doing something like that.
In all these years of going after quarterbacks, drafting them or whatever they have to do, and put them in a package and a trade and everything, you brought up Matt Ryan. I hadn't even thought that as a solution, that you go get a veteran quarterback, because I'm not sure who's out there. You know, when I think of Case Keenum, we're told he's one of the better backups. I don't want him starting for me either. So I want to give, first of all, Baker gets a bad deal because he gets hurt, and he at the same time he's losing, he loses Nick Chubb, and he's got some linemen that are gone. I'm not trying to feel sorry for the guy. I want to see this next batch of 4 or 5 games and see what he does, because that's when you're going to make the decision on him.
I agree. He needs to get back, and unfortunately, he looks banged up to me. So he has some things working against him. I think Tim Couch right now is thinking, I remember those days. Right now, he needs to play better this week against Cincinnati. They need to be able to run the football the way they did in the first game against Cincinnati. Remember, earlier in the year, they had a game with 300 yards on the ground. Beautiful. Let's try to crank it up. I don't know if you're going to get 300, but you still should be able to run the football.
Can you imagine how rough the media and the fans will be on Baker if they don't win against Cincinnati on Sunday? It's going to be as bad as anything we've seen in a long time.
It's going to take a lot of the goodwill away from those wins against Cincinnati and against Washington early on. And then you're looking at the Raiders, one of the better offenses in the NFL. Now, their defense is very poor, but they do have a good offense. Then what? You have the bye week, and then it's looking like Philadelphia, I think. And Carson Wentz, he still is capable of slicing and dicing your defenses. And we'll see him tonight against the Giants for Thursday Night Football. So He's got some opportunities. This is one of the easiest schedules I can remember, Les. They have so many winnable games. They have the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Giants, the Jets, Cincinnati coming up this weekend. There are opportunities to strike. The Texans have a lot of losses. The Eagles have a lot of losses. So the wins can be there.